Have you ever listened to a true story from a storyteller on stage and halfway through you thought, I didn't need to know that? Or worse, you were the one telling the story. And afterwards you thought, why did I say all of that? Truth based storytelling is powerful. However, when we overshare, the story can lose its impact, and sometimes so can the audience. Today, we're talking about how to tell true stories without oversharing. At the end, you will have an idea of which details to leave out and the type of details that matter. Also, how to protect yourself and others while still telling a meaningful and unforgettable story. Oversharing usually comes from a good place. The storyteller wants to be honest, wants to be real, and wants people to feel how they felt. But here's the truth: most people don't talk about, but not every true detail serves the story. Some details are emotional processing or private healing. Some details are better kept for therapy, journaling, or trusted conversations, but not for a stage, a mic, or a camera. A good story isn't about telling everything, it's about telling what matters. Every strong, truth based story needs structure. No matter how real it is, no matter how emotional it is, your story must have a beginning in which you set the scene. Who are you? Where are you? And what's normal? A middle with conflict. This is where something changes. A challenge, a mistake, and or a moment that forces growth or realization, and an end. For example, what did you learn? What changed? And who are you now? Oversharing often happens when we get stuck in the middle and adding detail after detail without moving the story forward. If a detail doesn't move the story from the beginning to a conflict and or to resolution, it probably doesn't belong. Here's something every truth-based storyteller needs to hear. Not every story that happened to you is yours alone to tell. If your story involves another person, especially in an embarrassing way, or they may be sensitive about the story, it's recommended to ask them, are you okay with me telling this story? And are you okay with me using your name? If they say no to sharing their name, you still have options. You can change the name, remove identifying details, or combine characters. If they say no to the story entirely, nothing really is stopping you from telling the story, but ethically, you should pause. Because storytelling is about connection, not harm. When someone feels exposed without consent, the story may land, but it won't connect. Now let's talk about stories where you are the vulnerable one. Telling an embarrassing story about yourself can be powerful, but only if you're ready. Before you tell it publicly, ask yourself, am I still processing this or have I learned from it? Would I feel okay hearing this story played back to me? Am I sharing for impact or for validation? If the story still feels raw, shaky, or painful, it may not be time to share it yet. Remember, you don't owe anyone your wounds. A healed story creates connection. An open wound creates discomfort. Here are three solid ways to avoid oversharing while still telling powerful, truth based stories. 1. Share the lesson, not every detail. Ask yourself one night, what is the audience meant to walk away with? If a detail doesn't support that lesson, cut it. The audience doesn't need every step, you guide them to the meaning. 2. Protect identities without losing truth. Change names, remove locations, blur identifying traits. You can keep the emotional truth without exposing real people. Truth doesn't require full disclosure. 3. Check your comfort level before you share. If you'd regret telling it tomorrow, don't tell it today. You should feel grounded, not exposed, when the story ends. Your safety matters as much as the story. At the end of the day, remember this: it is your story, and you get to decide how it's told. Tell stories that connect, tell stories with intention, and most of all, tell stories that honor you and the people in them. If this helped you think differently about truth based storytelling, please share, follow, and like. Thank you.